There's a lot of people saying that Goku is infinite, three-dimensional or above because he shook the world to void, which they claim is infinite. The first issue is that it's not actually infinite, that was a mistranslation, the official kanji only calls it eternal, not infinite. Secondly, even ignoring this, the world to void literally contains nothing aside from the structures that Grand Priest made, so shaking all of it is just not infinite three-dimensional unless you claim that shaking those structures is apparently infinite, which contained an arena, seeds and a lamp. Even saying that Goku shook the space itself of the dimension, which makes absolutely no sense, it's never stated, it's never implied, that's still not an infinite feat due to the fact that the world to void has no space or time, which has been directly stated by the way, making the world to void two-dimensional or below, and shaking infinite two dimensions is not an infinite three-dimensional feat. Infinite 2D is below 3D, so shaking the world to void is at best three-dimensional, and even that's a stretch, it's actually infinite 2D. And no, I'm not saying that Goku is apparently two-dimensional, I'm just saying that the feat is two-dimensional, at least according to Beerus. For instance, baby Gohan, who is pretty much a universe buster, almost destroyed a car. The feat itself is like low level, but though that doesn't mean that Gohan is low level. And by the way, just to debunk two popular arguments, hit creating pocket dimensions with time stored does not necessarily mean that the world to void has time-space. That's because there is absolutely no proof whatsoever that he stored the time from the world to void. From all we know, the time he stored could have been stored from Universe 6 when he was preparing for the match, which makes perfect sense actually because he's an assassin, preparation is important, and they believed that the world to void has no time or space. So even if the world to void ends up having space, it doesn't mean he'd store time from the world to void. That's again never stated and never implied. And there is an Eraser warping space, which is explained by Hit already creating many pocket dimensions inside the world to void, which were not shown being destroyed. So it's possible Eraser just warped the space Hit created. Now that aside, you can make the argument that we cannot possibly see three-dimensionally inside a two-dimensional world, and that actually makes perfect sense, it's reasonable, and it's logical. It does appeal to a reality, and that's actually an argument that I'm willing to accept. Yes, going by logic and visuals, the world to void will be three-dimensional. However, the problem is that we use this same thread of logic, Goku also didn't shake the entire world to void. And that's for one simple reason, the fact that the visuals show that he only shook the arena. When the shaking was happening and Elder Kai was saying that the entire world to void is shaking, we see that not even the seats next to the arena and the lamp were being shaken. They were perfectly still. The characters that were sitting on the seats were perfectly fine, perfectly still. The clothes they were wearing, even they weren't shaken. The background was not shaken. So visuals show that the world was not shaken whatsoever, only the arena. And while you may be saying, well, that's just you appealing to visuals and appealing to reality, well, that's what the whole counter about the world to void having space are all about.